Jeff Black again, your BFP Dream Builder from Beachmont Ford Performance, and I'm out here in the garage once more for a new episode of Garage Table Discussion, where we talk about all things car related, truck related, car culture, what's going on as far as events. Sometimes I'll have a guest or two. Other times I will tell you about products that I've bought and kind of let you know whether or not it's something you might be interested in. And just like I did a few weeks ago with the ice white taillights for the GT350R. I had the idea, I put the box there and just said, the day before or so, I said, take a guess, what's in the box? And I had all kinds of guesses on that one. So obviously I did that again, you saw it. Now I'm going to tell you what's in the box. And that is the brand new pressure washer from Chemical Guys. It's called their ProFlow PM2000. And comes in this nice box. It's got nice pictures on it all the way around, kind of showing you what the features are and what it looks like. But you don't have to just look at the box, because I've got one right here that I'm going to tell you about. So first off, I will say that I've got this all set up here, and I am filming this on a Thursday night, and I intend to Saturday actually test this out. By the time I get home from work here, it's kind of chilly and dark out, so we are going to do the actual testing of the pressure washer Saturday, and of course that'll be part of this video, so it'll look like I'm doing it all at the same time, right? Except I'll probably change clothes when I wash the car. So anyway, let's talk about the pressure washer. So it's, as you can see, it's pretty compact and actually pretty light. And I have gone through several electric pressure washers. And I will clarify that I'm using this mainly for washing the car. I have a gas-powered pressure washer that's much more powerful that I use for outdoor stuff. This is just for the car. And I have already always used Chemical Guys foam cannon, so that'll pair up well with this, I'm sure. And I use the CR spotless water system. So that's filtered, and it gives you the deionized water. So that is going to be working in conjunction with this also. So as you can see, first off, like I said, it is smaller than some of the other pressure washers. I've gone through a couple of the Greenworks pressure washers, and they worked great and they worked okay, but what I found is they have a motor that basically is internal. You can't get inside of it or anything, and it's leaking oil, and you can't really fix it. So I'm hoping this is going to work better. First off, right off the bat, you can see it's got 4 casters that attach, and these all can spin, or you can lock them in place. If you leave them all unlocked, the thing can kind of follow you around if you're pulling it. If you choose to, you don't have to put these casters on. There are 4 of these little rubber feet that would go in place of the casters if you wanted to just set this on the ground. I'm going to try the casters out and see how that works. So on the front of the pressure washer, right off the bat, you're going to see you've got your on-off switch here. And this is your quick connect that will hook up to your wand hose. So you got nice quick connections there. On the back, you've got your inlet for your hose connection. Now, I already have my hose set up with the CR Spotless, so all I've got to do is pull it out, and I've got the quick connect that'll go right on here, and I'll get my filter water. This also has its own little filter in it, and I'm not sure if that's mainly just to filter out, I guess, crap in the water. So it's looking pretty compact. It comes with, I believe they said this is a 35-foot electric cord that does have a reset on it in case you trip the breaker. So you got plenty of cord there. You shouldn't really probably have to use an extension cord or anything, and I'm not even sure that they recommend using an extension cord with these. But you've got your hose and wand here. Now there's a few things I do really like about this, and a couple of things that I'm not so much a fan of. So let's start with one of the things I'm not a fan of, and that is this type of connection here that they've got. So there's a button here, a red button, you push it in and that disengages the connection to the hose. And it's just not much. There's a little couple clamps in there that when you push this in and you lock this in, I'm just not 100% sure how well this is going to hold up over time. We will find out, I guess. The other thing that's, again, not slightly disappointing is the actual hose itself. It's fairly pliable, but I will say that if you get a kink in it, it doesn't look like it straightens out real easily. And I will say that the Greenworks had a much nicer hose, and I may actually see if I can just steal that hose off of there to use with this. I'm not sure about the different connections. I haven't had a chance to check that yet. The one thing that I do like about it is that it does have a short wand, and I will sometimes, as you probably have seen, I will literally jack the car up and get underneath it and pressure wash the whole undercarriage. So having a shorter wand definitely helps. The previous pressure washers had a longer wand and it was a little awkward sometimes. This also comes, and this is another thing I'm not a real big fan of. So it has a connection here that allows you to take off this wand, and you can literally put this extremely short wand on and put your nozzles on there. And that'll allow you to get into some tight areas, and this would probably really work well when I've got the car jacked up to do the undercarriage. Now I will say that, and I do use this a lot, I have this wonderful tool here that allows you to hook up to your pressure washer and just roll this underneath the car and get the whole undercarriage. And it works great, but I think if I do really want to get a little bit, I guess you'd call it better job underneath there, I will probably use this setup so I can get up under there easier. Now this is the other little thing that I'm not sure that I like about the gun, and that is this connection here. Again, it may be fine. We will find out over time, but it seems to be a little, I guess I'll use the word chintzy to me. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out over some time. But it does give you a couple options there as far as your hose and wand connections. Now your 5 different types of nozzles as far as your span, you know, you got, I usually almost always use the white one for the car. So they've got this set up on this little thing here, and if you turn this around, you're going to see 3 holes here, and it lets you have the option to either put it on this side or this side, and this just literally goes into these holes and kind of snaps in there like that, and that's where your storage is for your nozzles. And they also give you some of the nice white tape to tape around your hose connections to, you know, make sure you're not getting any leaks. So like I said, I'm going to try this out, see how well it works, and we will we'll give you a good review here, I guess, and see what it works. But right now, I like the compactness of it. It wasn't exceptionally expensive, although I will say it was more expensive than some of the other type of pressure washers I've bought. But basically, it was, you know, $200 for what you see here. You got the pressure washer, the wands, 2 different wands. You've got the hose, the gun, and of course your electric connection. So $200. I am putting a lot of faith in the fact that Chemical Guys, to me, has always had a reputation of great products. So I am hoping that they have got one here. I will tell you that if you look close enough on the back, I don't know if this will matter to any of you, but this is made in China. But then again, so much of everything is nowadays. So we shall see how it holds up. And we'll try it out. All right, let's get some clothes changed and, you know, pretend like it's the same night. All right, guys, I'll let you know how this works out, and then we'll follow up. All right, gang, we are getting set up out here to try out the brand new Chemical Guys ProFlow pressure washer. Brand new product that I'm excited to try out. I think it's going to be awesome. We're going to find out here in a little bit. Now, I've got a few of the other things set up out here that we're going to be using today, and this may kind of start to sound like a Chemical Guys commercial, although it's really not. I am not a spokesperson for Chemical Guys. I am not a employee of Chemical Guys or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I don't get any free product from Chemical Guys, although I'll take some. All right, so I've got the, obviously we're going to try out the pressure washer. I've got my Chemical Guys foam cannon, and along with that, I've got my Chemical Guys Honey Flow Snow Foam Auto Wash that is going to be a great product to use here today. Now, you've probably seen plenty of people with a foam cannon and see how it works, so this is a great product if you haven't ever tried it. Also, I have this that was a present from my wife, I don't know, about a year ago or so. This is the ProFlow, which is an electric blower that you can use to dry off the car. And what's nice about this is it's got the attachments that let you get into all the little crevices, door jambs, and so forth. This works great, so I use that a lot too. All right, so let me show you a couple of the other things we're going to be using today and the setup that we've got, and then we'll get started on the car. Okay, so you can see I've got the ProFlow pressure washer set up here. Got my hose hooked up to the wand. I am going to go ahead and use this slightly longer wand right at the very beginning here. I've got the small little adapter that'll go right there if I need to. I'm going to try that out for sure. So we've got everything set up here. I do want to say that I really like this extension cord because, as I said, I think it's very helpful that they gave you a lot of extra length with the cord. So you should be able to hook it up and get around pretty easily. So let's go in here and show you another thing that we're going to be using today. And that is the CR spotless water system. So I've got my hose hooked up obviously to the pressure washer. And then I come in and I've got my hose hooked up here to the CR spotless system, which gives me my filtered deionized water. Makes it nice if you want to wash the car out in the sun. You're not going to get all those water marks or water spots, whatever you want to call them. So we are pretty well set up. How about we go ahead and get out here and actually see how this thing works? Come on. All right, so I've got the White Knight all foamed up, and it looks white. I'm going to let that soak here for a couple of minutes while I tell you a little bit more about this. So one thing that I will say right off the bat is one of my favorite features so far is this short extension for the gun. It does make using the foam cannon a lot easier. And I think it's going to come in real handy when I do decide to jack up the car and hit the undercarriage. It's just going to be nice that basically I will literally just have this with the nozzle on it, and that'll make things a lot easier to use. Now, there is one thing that I am not, I'll be perfectly honest with you, totally impressed with, and that is this hose. As you can see, it keeps wanting to coil up on me. It is nowhere near as flexible and easy to work with as the hose that came on the Greenworks pressure washer, quite honestly. I'm finding myself doing this a lot, trying to get it untangled. But that's so far my worst, I guess I'll call it, critique. I do like the feature that this thing can follow you around on the casters as you're going around. You can, as I said before, lock the casters into place. Or if you don't want to use the casters at all, like I said, it does have those rubber feet that you can put on and just literally set it on the ground. Here's another big thing I do think I like about this. So if you're going on a trip to a bigger show or something somewhere, especially if you're like myself and you have a enclosed car trailer that you're hauling around the car in, this is so much more compact and easy to carry around that you could just take it with you very easily. And if you're like me and you've got a generator on your trailer or you're carrying around a small generator, you'll have electric, the biggest thing you'd have to find is a water source. But at least you could wash your car if you needed to somewhere. Because a lot of times some of us were out there seeking out touchless car washes, and they're not always that easy to find in some areas. So I think that's a big feature. Other than that, I'm going to let this soak for a couple minutes, and then we're going to try it out as far as finishing up here. I'm going to confess one thing. The White Knight really wasn't that dirty today, so I'm not going through a full wash. I'm not breaking out the mitt and everything else and cleaning this. I literally hosed it off a little bit, trying out the foam on it, and I'm going to hose it off just to get a chance to try out the whole pressure washer and let you know what I think of it. Okay, so now we've got basically the car all washed off and ready to try out the ProFlow. Well, I shouldn't say try out because I have used this quite a few times, but we're going to use that to get the car dried off and cleaned up. My car is ceramic coated, so that really does make quite a difference on keeping the car clean and cleaning the car. I know there will be some people, some of my friends that are out there that will comment about, hey, the car's never dirty. Well, I try to keep it that way, but one thing that's nice about the ceramic coating and it not being a daily driver, and like I said, summer car, is that it never really gets that dirty. So a lot of times I honestly can cheat and do just what I did today. I'll hose it off a little bit with the pressure washer to get the surface dirt and so forth, and then I'll foam it, and then I literally will just, again, pressure wash that foam right off. And other than drying it off, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of times all I'll have to do with my car, because the ceramic coating does help that much. All right, so let's get this thing dried off, try out the ProFlow a little bit here, and again, we'll get you a final review here in a few minutes. This is just a little side note for GT350 owners that may have not taken the time to actually read their manual or have not figured this out on their own. But I've seen the comments out there many years now, and maybe there are people that just bought a GT350 that haven't seen this or don't know this. But I've seen many complaints about trying to raise your windshield wiper on a GT350 because the hood is actually shaped different on the GT350. And you can raise this wiper fine, but this one will hit right there. And I've had people say, well, what the heck, Ford designed this terribly, that chips my paint there and so forth. But there is a very simple solution that Ford even tells you about in the manual. So I will also tell you that just as a precaution on my car, I bought some trim molding that goes, actually it's designed and made for rims on a wheel. You know, you've probably seen some of them that come in different colors to put around your rim. And I bought some in black and literally cut a small piece and attached it here to the windshield wiper. So when it comes up, even if I did forget, it won't hopefully scratch the paint. But let me show you the trick. All right, so when you go to wash your GT350 or your GT350R and you want to put the windshield wipers up, there is a very, very simple solution to this, and I won't call it a trick because it's actually, like I said, in the manual from Ford. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to, without engaging the clutch or anything, obviously, you're going to just hit your start button and put this into accessory mode. You are then going to take your windshield washer lever here, push it down, and as soon as the windshield wipers start to come up, hit the accessory button again, and that will stop the windshield washers right there. There's a small little tip for you newer GT350 owners or 350R owners, or maybe even an older one that you did not know this for some reason and have not actually read your manual. Little tip from Jeff. All right, gang, there we have it. The White Knight is all cleaned up again, and I guess I'll give my review here on the ProFlow. So, pretty much as I had stated at the very beginning of this video, there were a couple of things that I absolutely love about it, a couple of things that I'm a little unsure about. I won't say there's anything about it that I totally dislike. So it's just like any other product. There are probably going to be some pros and cons, and if you buy one, you may find that some things don't bother you as much. So I will say that the biggest thing that I probably love about it was this attachment right here on the gun. It just makes for a nice short throw here. When I put the Chemical Guys foam cannon on there, it just made it so much easier to work and maneuver. And as I stated, when I jack up the car to do the undercarriage, I think this is going to come in really handy. And it made it nice too when I was trying to get into the barrels of the wheels a little bit more too. It gave me a little more flexibility there. So definitely a pro right there. I love that. Still will be interesting to see over time how well this quick connect here holds up. As far as I think this part's probably not going to be so bad. It just literally goes in there and twists. So I think that will be fine. This hose connection I still think I'm a little leery of, because as I stated, you're going to push that red button, it's going to disconnect. There's just not, to me, a real nice, I don't know, maybe I'm just being overly critical here, but I like the old screw-on type connector. But again, we shall see. So that's definitely a pro and a con. The other pro that I think is, again, the size of this thing. I did actually find myself a couple of times literally just picking it up and carrying it around with me as I was working the car. The casters are great. I don't think it worked as well for me, and that is only because my driveway is on somewhat of a slant, and it kept wanting to roll downhill on me. But if you have a flat driveway, I think it's pretty good. It would probably just follow you around. And that's one of the reasons I started kind of carrying it around with me, and that worked out fine. Other than that, I do think the only other little con that I'm a little worried about, but this isn't even a big deal to me because, again, I'm using the CR Spotless filter water system. But this little adapter, this just literally screws on here, and that's a quick connect for your hose. It has its own little filter in there, and this is, plastic. Of course, everything's plastic, but this is definitely plastic, and I guess I have a little concern about whether or not this, if you weren't careful, this could get snapped off or broken off. But even if it did, you can still just connect your hose to here. It's just that filter in there that might be an advantage. I don't know. Again, the other smaller wand was still a nice attachment to use. Some of the pressure washers come with a pretty long wand, and I know you can switch them out. That will be the only other, I think, well, I won't say the only other. The other concern was, and I've already stated this, was the hose itself. I wasn't overly thrilled with that, but it wasn't terrible, don't get me wrong. So that's another so-so on me. The wands and the adapters, I guess that's the whole thing, the adapters. This is pretty much not going to be something that I think you can just run out to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy a replacement hose or anything, because these adapters are a little different. And I haven't shopped around. Maybe you can find them. I might be wrong. But I will say, overall, I will give the ProFlow pressure washer a solid 9 out of 10. And only because I'm probably being a little picky about some of the other stuff. But I do love it. If you want to order yours, I know for a while they were getting hard to find because they sold out the initial batch like within 10 minutes. And then it took a while for them to get them back in. These are also available on Amazon, which is where I ended up finally buying it from, because I could never find it in stock on Chemical Guys' website. And then I saw it available on Amazon, and I could buy it basically and have my order in, and as soon as one came in, then they shipped it to me. I didn't get charged for it until they shipped it. And then, of course, the other nice thing about Amazon, if you're one of those type people that loves to take advantage of 0% offers, this qualifies if you have an Amazon credit card for 0%. And my wife and I use those a lot, because as long as you're paying it off in the right amount of time, why not use someone else, keep using your own money instead of giving it to Chemical Guys or Amazon, if that makes sense. All right, guys, so Jeff Black, your BFP Dream Builder here from Beachmont Ford Performance, saying thank you for watching as always, and get out there and get you a chemical, guys, ProFlow pressure washer. All right, we'll see you on the next version. Bye-bye.